Hello everyone. Today we'll be discussing first principles and we're going to look at the two questions from the previous two practice tests. So on the left here, I believe this is the 2017 one, and on the right here, this is the 2018 practice test. So we'll go over both of them, how to do it. And I know I said in the previous video that I would just leave a tutorial, but after rewatching that tutorial, it was pretty good, but I think we could probably do it a little bit more concisely. So let's start off with 2x squared plus 2. Now we know that any time we have a function of x, let's say our function of x was equal to 2x. Now if we wanted to do the function now of x plus h for that same equation, we'd simply sub in this bit here into wherever we see the x. So it would become 2 multiplied by x plus h. So if you have that understanding, that's a good first step to working with these first principles. Now let's put our first principles equation up here. So we have f of x plus h minus f of x over h. And I wouldn't worry about memorizing this, as I'll actually give you the formula on the sheet. So let's move into this first question now. So we have 2x squared plus 2, and we're simply going to plug in our formula, this into our formula. So we have limit, sorry, I should write, the formula does actually have limit of h approaching 0 here. So now with that knowledge, let's start properly this time. So as h approaches 0, we have f of x plus h. Now we sub x plus h anytime we have x. So we have 2 times x plus h squared plus 2 minus 2x squared plus 2 over h. And then from here, we pretty much just start simplifying, remembering to write limit of h approaching 0 as you start each new line of the equation. So we're going to expand this out now. We have 2 times x squared plus 2xh plus h squared plus 2 minus 2x squared minus 2 over h again. Limit as h approaches 0, we have, so the fully expanded form now, 2x squared plus 4xh plus 2h squared plus 2 minus 2x squared minus 2 over h again. And you can see there's quite a lot of terms here to deal with. It's nothing too complicated. It's really just making sure you don't make small errors. If you don't do that, then you should be good getting the final answer. And I'll show you a tip at the end of this video as well, just to confirm that you've actually got the right answer. So now we can start cancelling out terms. Limit as h approaches 0. And let me get a red color here. And let's just cancel out some terms. So 2x squared, we have a negative 2x squared over this side. We can cancel those out. And we have a positive 2 and a negative 2 here. So we can cancel all of those. Let's now write this out again with our terms cancelled out. 4xh plus 2h squared over h. So we divide both terms by h, as this is pretty much the same. This equation here is the same as 4xh over h plus 2h squared over h. Therefore, we can divide both terms by h. So our final answer, limit as h approaches 0, we have 4x plus 2h. Now, this isn't actually your final answer. This is the final answer. This is the final equation with limit h approaching 0 in it. But we then need to say as s, and just looking back to the top left of the screen now, there actually should be an apostrophe up here. No, that's incorrect, sorry. The apostrophe will only come in towards the end. So we have, this one at the top is our original function. Therefore, the derivative function, f, which we found out with this first principles method, fx, as fx approaches, now this should be written as h approaches 0, here we go, f(x) equals, and we simply sub 0 as h into this equation, 4x. Now just to confirm that you've got the right answer here, you can look back to the original equation, this one up here, and just find the derivative. So 2x squared becomes 4x, and 2 just gets cancelled out. So if you have 4x here, it's the same as your final answer. You can verify that it's correct. Let's move on to a harder one now. F of x equals 1 over x minus 4. We're going to use this same formula up here. So we have f of x plus h minus f of x on h. Now I might have to use a bit of this horizontal space here. So we now write this out as 1 on x plus h minus 4. So we're simply subbing in x plus h anytime we see x, minus 1 on x minus 4, which is just our original up here. We see the x, and over h. Now you can see here that we can't subtract one term from another because they don't have the same denominator. So to fix this problem, what we need to do is multiply both terms by the other denominator. And I'll show you how to do that now. So we have 1 over x plus h minus 4. We simply need to multiply this by x minus 4. So that x minus 4 came from the other side over here. Then we do the same thing on this side, 1 on x minus 4, and we multiply that by the first one now, which is x plus h minus 4 over x plus h minus 4. And that whole thing is h. Now, you may have already seen a problem with this, an error that I've made actually, and that's that I've forgotten to put limit as h approaches 0 on all of these. So don't be like me, make sure you remember to put your limit h approaching 0 so you don't lose a mark there. There we go. Alright, we're then going to multiply all of these terms out. So we have x minus 4 on x plus h minus 4 times x minus 4 minus x plus h minus 4 on x plus h minus 4 times x minus 4. So same thing as the other side. Alright, and make sure to put the limit out the front. And this whole thing is on h. Now we move into cancelling terms. So we have this x and the negative x here, so we can cancel that out. And the negative 4, and this 4 becomes a positive because of this negative sign out the front. So we cancel that as well. So we have finally limit as h approaches 0, h on, negative h on, apologies, let's go back one step here. And let's change this to, yeah, so we're going to go limit as h approaches 0. Just going to write this out slightly differently now. We have this negative h on the top, and because it's a common denominator, the denominator is the same, we just keep this as x plus h minus 4 times x minus 4. And we're going to multiply this by 1 on h. That's the same as dividing the whole thing by h, which is putting it in a slightly different form. We can then cancel out, so this multiply by 1 here, we're going to do that, so we have negative 1h, and we're going to cancel both of these h's out. So we're left with limit, and I'll just go onto the side here now, h approaching 0, -1 on x plus h minus 4 times x minus 4. And there is no way to factorize this further. Therefore, we can now write the same as we did on the left side, as h approaches 0, f of x equals, and anytime you see h, just going to sub in 0. So you have -1 on x plus 0 minus 4. That's just from up here. So we have x minus 4 times x minus 4, which is the same as -1 on x minus 4 squared. And that's your final answer.